We're doing no green screen today. Strictly business. Canyon Bicycles valuation drops significantly from 800 million down to 500 million over the past couple of years. And while reading this article, it dawned on me. This article sums up basically what the bicycle industry is right now, at least in my opinion. Now, there's always going to be those other few out there that are either having a better time in this or they're having a worse time in this. But as a whole, from my experience with our store and also all the other vendors, manufacturers, other stores I talked to as well, it seems very, very similar to this situation. So basically, this article was actually sent to me from a viewer, and it's from a Dutch website. So I used Google Translate to show it off, but it came out May 20th, 2025. Canyon Bicycles have struggled with disappointing results in recent years. Investment company Group Bruxelles Lambert GBL, which acquired a majority stake at the end of 2020, has now significantly adjusted the valuation of its shares. This was reported by Het Financieel Dagblad. My apologies if I butchered your name. Basically, when this valuation happened of 800 million euros, this was in 2020. Now, overlooking the past couple of years from 2022, 2023, and 2024, they are now reevaluating to 500 million euros. 2022, they closed with a profit, which that was still coming off the rise of the COVID boom. 2020, 2021, we all know the story. I've made multiple videos about this. 2023 and 2024, Canyon recorded losses of 14 million euros and 38 million euros as well. And I made videos on this as well, basically saying it's not all bad. They're trying to go ahead and move inventory that they had. A lot of it was caused by deflation. Price increases were massively high because the demand was there. And now all that backlash is happening. Other bicycle companies are coming out with competitive prices. They're lowering prices because they have such an overstock of inventory. So they're moving bikes that were once $14,000 and the cost of those bikes costs X. Now we're selling these bikes for $10,000 just to move the inventory, taking losses on it, and just to go ahead and get our money back. So yes, they're not recording profits, but those bicycles pretty much were paid for with profits from 2021 and 2020. Now, why do I say that it sums up the bicycle industry, at least in my opinion? It seems like it's like this right now in our store. And by any means, I'm not sitting here complaining or talking bad or anything like that. This is just what I'm seeing with my own eyes. Basically, the storefront of brick and mortars are definitely feeling the heat from online sales, internet sales, Canyon Bicycles as well. Direct to consumers, they're the pioneer of this industry, pushing prices and being competitive. But because of the fact that there was such a boom in 2021 and 2020, us brick and mortar stores, manufacturers, vendors uploaded, we accumulated a ton of inventory because of the fact that a lot of people didn't see an end to the demand. So they were buying all these bikes at a premium price, like I always say, and then deflation happened. Bicycle cost $14,000, $14,000 in 2021, 2 years in 2023. They're not moving those bikes as much. There was such demand for it. That same bike now is $12,000. So then they run a sale on that bike as well to go ahead and push because they have so much inventory of it. Now that bike's $11,000. That store that paid $14,000 and is sitting on that bicycle now basically lost all the profits and is selling for dead costs. So our numbers as a store through the past year or so, we're hitting our numbers. We're selling the high-end stuff. We're selling the stuff that's new. We're selling the stuff that people want. S-Works, SRAM Red, Dura-Ace, Princeton Wheels. That stuff is flying off the shelves. But a lot of stuff like the stuff that people don't want, that bikes were flying off the shelves, the hybrids, the low-end mountain bikes, the mid-range mountain bikes in general. All those bikes that we accumulated back in the day for a really high-end price, now we're just trying to move them because they're 2 years old. They're outdated tech, and the newer bike model for present year 2025 is better spec'd out for a lower price point. So we're trying to go ahead and move these older bikes, which is going ahead and reducing our numbers. So yes, we're making a profit and a profit off of the high-end stuff, but then also it's being fluctuated by these low-end numbers because of the fact that we're basically moving. We're still paying our bills, we're still paying all our salary, we're taking care of the building, we're taking care of everything like that. But at the end of the year, the numbers are not what they want to be. yes, we're still making a profit, but it's nowhere near what it should be or what we would want it to be for a happy and healthy business. And this is the same thing that I hear from other stores. This is the same thing I hear from other vendors. I had one vendor come into my store that basically said, whatever you have in your inventory, these guys have 4 times that in every single SKU and every single size. So there is still this backlash going on. And that's why, again, I think going from this 800 million that was in euros at the time of 2020 and now 500 million, that is reasonable. The investment company now values its stake in Canyon at 261 million, according to the FD. This brings the total valuation of the company to over 500 million euros, a significant drop compared to 800 million paid in 2020. At the time, GBL paid 400 million for a majority stake, with founder Roman Arnold retaining the rest of the shares. Canyon is considered a pioneer in the direct online sale of high-quality bicycles and had great ambitions in the American market. 4 years after the takeover, those ambitions do not seem to have led to the expected result, concludes the FD. And yeah, that is the case. Even though they are the pioneers and they are selling bicycle products and they are being competitive, their air roads, I'm sure, are flying off the shelves. Their gravel bikes, I'm sure, are selling off the shelves. But a lot of those low-end, maybe the endurance models, maybe the cheaper alloy bikes, maybe the mountain bikes. They even said they had a problem with Canyon also struggled with technical problems with its electrical mountain bikes, which had to temporarily be withdrawn from the market. Again, not having great customer support in the brick and mortar to have them go to stores. You have to send everything back, which probably caused a recall or whatever, where they just had to do a stop sale on those products. Which this doesn't seem too far off of what everyone else, of what I'm seeing in terms of companies. Every single company that I know of are pushing more competitive prices. Obviously, the tariffs happened, but they're pushing lower prices. Example, S-Works SLA Tarmac in 2021 was $14,500. Now it is MSRP of $13,000. So immediately, that cuts away your profit. If you have a bike, an S-Works SL8 with Ceram Red from 2021, that's $1,500 down the drain just to be competitive. And someone walks in your store and says, "Hey, this thing's 13 grand. What are we gonna do here?" And also, I have a bicycle right now in my store. For instance, this model. This is the Diverge Expert Carbon. I have one of these in a 2021. The retail on this bicycle is $4,600. Can anyone guess the retail of this bicycle back in 2021? It was $6,200. And also, it's an older spec. And also, it's the last year's model. So anyone buying that bike, they're automatically going to think that it's at a disadvantage, and they want a discount on it. So I have to go ahead and take that $6,200 bike, match it to this bike, because this thing is pretty much spec'd out probably better than what comes on that Diverge. I think it's very similar, but most likely close to being better. Newer tires, newer wheels, maybe, let's say. And yeah, immediately eats into all your profit. We have a ton of these bikes similar to this in lower to mid-tier items and SKUs. Luckily, we're very fortunate to go ahead and be able to pay all that off. We don't owe money on it. But yeah, it's just basically money sitting there that we will eventually sell for probably a loss. So again, those affects the numbers over a year. We're trying to dump all the stuff that we know is not going to sell, not going to make many money, and then order smarter. The old style of brick and mortar businesses in terms of bicycle stores, having these massive amount of inventory quantities, you're not really seeing that much. You're seeing a lot of these enthusiast brand, like these beautiful looking showroom style, where they're basically cherry picking the line. They only have like 4 or 5 frames hanging on the wall, custom choose your wheels. But back in the day, freaking 10, 15 years ago, we had 80 to 100 bikes on the floor, low-end mountain bikes, high-end mountain bikes, middle-range mountain bikes, hybrids from $500 all the way up to $2,000 because you want to have different sizes, different colors for options of people with walk-ins, full suspension mountain bikes, aluminum Malays that are like $800 all the way up to S-Works and $12,500, and everything in between in different sizes and different colors, because that was the model back then. But you're definitely starting to see a difference in today's bicycle shop store. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of this article. Do you think I hit the nail on the head, or do you think that I am being pretty far off from the truth? And like I said, there will be stores out there that are crushing it, that they're killing it, that are opening up. And also, there's a ton of different options out there in terms of the Chinese direct-to-consumer market. Panda Podium, Joe over at China Cycling, is doing a phenomenal job at introducing new items for half the price that give out great quality. And literally, it's putting effect on our $2,000, $3,000 bicycles. So there's a ton of different options out there now that are offering competition, offering newer technology, and for a competitive price point. So let me know what you guys think. Am I far off the mark, or do I hit the nail on the head? See you guys next video.